Hello everyone and welcome back to this Strapi and Next.js tutorial series. In the previous video we added the slugs to our job and company entity types, and we also added some constraints both to the title of the company of the job, okay, and to the name of the company. Right, we added both those two constraints, but these are not the only fields that need constraints. Okay, so in this video what we're going to do is add some more constraints to each of these fields, and we're going to start with the remote. Okay, and not only the constraints but also the default values, right? So this is a boolean. Obviously when we're fetching the jobs, we want to by default fetch the jobs that are I think remote okay only. Really, it should be called remote okay only. By default we want that to false. A required field, yes, it's a required field, it's not a private field, so that's good. Now let's do the same for feature job. We want that to be false. We don't want to get the feature jobs only, right? So we want to be able to fetch initial, like by default, all the jobs, not only the ones that are featured. So that's good. That's good. Date posted. I think the default value we can put it to. I think first of all, is it a required field? Default hour. Unique field. I think required field, yeah, it's a required field. I don't think it's the default value is okay there. Private field, no. Unique field, not necessarily. And then finish. Very good. Experience level. Here we already have like, yeah, and it should definitely not be empty. Okay, so let's choose the default value. We don't want that. We leave the user to select which value is good. Very good. Now the job type, same thing, basically required. Finish. Job category, yeah, these two we want that to be required. Okay. Maximum length, we can also add a maximum length of 3, no, sorry, a minimum length, sorry, instead. Minimum length, required field, minimum length of 3 characters, sounds good to me. Finish. Now application link, this is where things are very interesting. This, like we said, this is a link. We want this to be a link. And how do you define, how do you use a link? How do you tell Strapi to only accept URL as well? It's by using regex. If I type here URL regex, you see the response that we get from Google. There are many ways to define a regular expression that will capture only links, but you can go as strict or broad as you want. It's basically depending on your requirements. I already have here one that I've created and I've used in the Contentful series. I'm going to use the same here. Okay, so basically it tells Strapi to only accept links that have a specific regular expression, that match a specific regular expression, and that's how we specify the links. Unique, not necessarily. Multiple jobs can share the same application link. That's perfectly fine. Maximum length, not necessarily. And that's it. That's good. Job description. Yeah, we want this to be required. Definitely. About you, this as well, not necessarily required. I think that could be fine. Can give some freedom to the companies posting the jobs to not necessarily add those other sections. I think that's fine. I think we've already dealt with the slog, so that's it for the job in terms of constraints and validations. Let me save. I'll do exactly the same for the company. So if I go to company here, these are the fields. Okay, so let's add constraints. We already added constraint to the name. Let's add constraint to the city. This is required as well. Don't necessarily need to match pattern. Okay, the city, the logo, required. We definitely want that to be a required field. And also in terms of the allowed values, you want these to be only images. Okay, so only images are allowed for this, not necessarily all, because this is a general asset entity. It can be the video, audio, or files, but we want only images. Okay, so let's save that. Finish. Same thing for the cover image. Okay, so choose only images, and we add it as required. Finish. The slogan, also this should be a required field. Very good. Minimum length, we want this at least like 20 characters, right? It's 20 characters. The maximum is the length of a tweet. I think it's 180, is it? Oh, closed it somehow. Let's do that again. Required, maximum, minimum. Very good. I think 180 characters and 20 characters here. All right, so I think this is perfect. Very good. Then the website, same thing. We want this to match a particular regex. I have the regex here. Required field. Very good. Not necessarily unique. Doesn't have to be. Finish. And then the slot, we did that before. And then let me save. Very good. So now we've added our constraints and our validations. Okay, but you still see, if I zoom again on our content type here, that we are not yet dealing, like our contents, our entities are not necessarily linked yet. Okay, so there's no relations to carried to tell that, okay, a job has a potential relationship with other jobs, and also a company can post multiple jobs, or a job is posted by one and only one company. Okay, so now that's what we're going to do in the next video. We're going to see how to add, first of all, if I zoom again here, what we call unidirectional relationships, meaning a relationship that is only one way, one direction. And then in the next video, we're going to see how to do bidirectional relationships. So without further ado, I'm going to close this video here, and I see you in the next one. Thank you. Ciao.